I started feeling sorry for AD when they showed her on the screen again, and then she opened up her mouth and she said this.
There's nothing that he could have shown me, told me, that would have changed my answer.
Honestly, at this moment, I have no hope for this girl. Goodbye. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk about Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 12 today. So the finale episode opens up where we left off with the last episode, with Jimmy and Chelsea at the theme park, and they're having this conversation. Jimmy's not sure where Chelsea stands in terms of saying yes at the altar. Turns out Jimmy doesn't really care about that because he doesn't plan on going to the altar at all. And I'm really glad that he put us out of our misery within 5 minutes of this episode, because we did not need any more drama coming from these two. The conversation was about as messy as you could have expected it to be, with Chelsea throwing it in his face constantly again and again that she divulged a secret that he told her not to. She didn't really care because she lacks accountability. She's allergic to it. And Jimmy was just like, you're proving my point. You're giving me literally the exact reasons why I know I'm making the right decisions. So unfortunately, that couple, or fortunately for us, that couple is done for. We can move on to the other couples. And that's exactly what we're going to do, because I'm not going to give them any more time than we already have given them all season. They're toxic, they're a mess, and I'm glad that it's over. Next up, we have the bachelor and bachelor party scenes. And the notes that I have here are primarily around how the couples are talking about one another. Now, we know that the bachelor and bachelor parties are the last hurrahs before the weddings, and it's really interesting to see how people talk about their excitement going into their weddings or any trepidations they may have. So I want to start off with Johnny and Amy and how they talk about their relationship compared to AD and Clay. The thing that I noted here is that you could tell who had done the work, who had really gotten to know one another, and who had not done those things. Particularly, Clay likes to talk about what AD has done for him and how she's been there for him. Basically, his ride or die, his best friend. He never really talks about AD though. He doesn't say a single thing that I can remember at the top of my head about AD as a person. It's all about what she is in relation to him and what she brings to his life. Clay loves AD because AD loves Clay, not just loves AD full stop. We never hear from him and I love AD without a laundry list following it up with the things that she does for him and how she makes him feel. And it's different if you're like, oh, she's so thoughtful, she's so sweet, and she makes me feel heard, she makes me feel cared for. But it truly is like AD holds it down, AD goes to war for me, AD got me. It's all about what he can take from AD, and I don't really see this going well. We know from the beginning that it's been red flags all around when it comes to this couple, and we're going to see much more of that later on in the wedding. Comparing this with Amy and Johnny, when Johnny talks about Amy and when Amy talks about Johnny, it's really about how they feel about one another, the qualities that the other person possesses that makes them feel safe, makes them feel confident going into the weddings. And that is such a juxtaposition compared to AD and Clay. When it comes to Clay, just what AD can do for him, and when it comes to AD, just these very empty statements and how fine he is. Like, you can tell which couple's gonna make it and which one is not. So, a little spoiler if you didn't know already. Yes. That's what happens. So getting out of there, we jump straight into Clay and AD's wedding, and I have a lot of notes on this, so just bear with me as I get through it. The first thing I want to say is that the writing was on the wall with this couple. The red flags were evident from the very beginning, from the pods, and AD, she told us that she likes to paint her nails red to match the red flags, and that's exactly what she did. I have an unpopular opinion about AD, so let me know what you think about this. I think AD is just as obsessed with looks as Clay is. She's just better at hiding it. He's more honest about it, so he ends up looking like the bad guy that he's obsessed with looks, but AD is very vain. AD is a sweet girl, nice girl, looks great, but she is obsessed with looks. She's obsessed with materialistic things from what we can see on our screens. She pulls up in the Rolls Royce. They're showing the Louboutins that she's wearing. She's talking about how fine he is. Like, girl, do your work to make sure this is the person you need to be with and stop focusing on these materialistic things. So that's going to be a theme that comes up when it comes to AD, of like, just ignoring the work that needs to get done, ignoring the important conversations, ignoring the important things. And that's what led her to this moment here that we're going to talk about later on. We still have Clay just nonstop talking. He does not stop talking, and we see where he gets it from. Clay's dad is introduced to us in this episode, and that man also cannot stop talking. The two of them, it's a weird dynamic. I wasn't getting father and son. I was getting something completely different. Like, I don't know, it was a weird interaction that they had, and I couldn't capture much of what they were saying. It just seemed like they were humble bragging to one another and hyping each other up, and I don't know. It was weird. I did not like the interaction at all, but it is what it is. We get AD in her dress and she looks stunning. She looks absolutely amazing. So girl, I mean, look, you have a right to feel the way you do about your body because it's bodying. But I do think for me personally, and this is just my opinion, the dress was a bit too revealing. She has a slit, she has a sleeveless. I think it would have been nice if she had a more conservative top with the very dramatic slit, or you know, sexy at the top and more conservative at the bottom. But that's just my opinion. To each his own. She looked really amazing in that dress. So, you know, no complaints there really. Clay looked so handsome standing up there, knowing damn well he wasn't going to say yes to this girl. Like, is Clay straight? We have Clay giving his vows, and they pan to AD's mom, and she's just sitting there just shaking her head just like her daughter does. Like, I'm sorry, these two are giving airhead in a way. Like, all the signs are there, and if AD can't see it, for the love of God, can her mom see it? But no, she's just sitting there shaking her head at these vows that Clay is giving, and I don't know. It's beyond me at this point. This couple is beyond me. And Clay is making it seem like he's really going to say yes, and he's dead wrong for that. But before all of this happened, he had been giving AD a heads up that he's not ready for marriage. He doesn't think he can handle the commitment of marriage. So honestly, he did give her a heads up. He warned her it's her decision to ignore those red flags and get up to this altar thinking she's gonna get a yes. And I think deep down she knew she wasn't gonna get a yes. My next note is AD's vows delusional. Honestly, the relationship was doomed because AD is doing all of the work. She keeps saying, I got you, I got us, I'm gonna take us to the moon. Like, girl, no, that's not how a relationship works. You can't be the one putting in all the effort. You're not his therapist. You're not his counselor. You cannot fix this man. And she's so busy trying to do that and reassure them that everything is going to be fine as long as she's willing to continue doing the work that she's been doing, and Clay's just going along with it. But if she really took the time to reflect on this relationship, she would have known that back in the pods, when she cut Clay off for asking her how she looked, she should have stuck with that. The cardinal mistake that she made was that Matthew ended up not working out for obvious reasons. And instead of just cutting her losses and saying, you know what, maybe I'm not going to find love this season, no, she went back to Clay, who she knows is a red flag. She talked with Alejandra about it. So I don't know where she got off thinking that this was a match made in heaven, or that they were going to work out, or they never had issues. I honestly appreciate Jimmy and Chelsea for at least talking about their issues and fighting about them, more so than AD and Clay pretending that everything was fine when it was not, clearly. And this is the part of me that gets to thinking that maybe AD was here for clout. Maybe she knew it wasn't going to work out, and it didn't matter who she walked down the aisle with. She was going to get here on this show, get some clout, get fame out of it, get the sympathy edit, because that's what she ended up getting, is a sympathy edit. And that was her plan all along. I'm starting to think maybe AD wasn't here for the right reasons either. Like, for her to say that she's confused, I'm confused. How are you confused when the man who's been telling you time and again that he's not ready for marriage, he thinks he's going to cheat on you, he has all these deep-rooted trauma from his parents' marriage, their failed marriage, his dad's infidelity? How are you confused that that same man who has been verbalizing his fears to you is now standing at the altar telling you, I don't think it's responsible for me to say no? He's not even saying I don't love you. He's not saying I don't want to be with you. He's just saying it's not responsible for me to put you through the ringer. I don't want you to be my ride or die. You deserve better. Don't be jumping off cliffs for me, okay? I think in the moment, we can be frustrated with Clay that he went about it the way that he did. Maybe he could have pulled a Jimmy and just not went to the altar. But at the end of the day, for him to say no is a huge service to AD. And she needs to realize that. Beyond realizing it, she needs to understand the contribution she made to this, the participation that she had, the part and the role that she played in them getting to the altar and her getting a no. It's not just Clay here. I'm putting more of the blame on AD because he was upfront about his shortcomings. He was upfront about what he was and wasn't going to do. And I hate to sound harsh on my girl AD because we have been rooting for her pretty much all season. Like, we wanted AD to win, right? But she needs to understand that she is enough. She can't get into that cycle of like, when is it going to be my time? I'm never enough. No, girl, you are enough. What you need to work on is recognizing when the situation you're in is less than ideal and how to fix it, versus using the soft little voice, going into your little girl mode, trying to be sexy. Like, girl, no, get serious. This is your future we're talking about. Now, this next scene was so funny to me. Trevor, Clay's dad, starts talking and his mom just started walking away. And that was exactly my mood. When this man starts opening up his mouth to speak, I completely lose all interest. I tune out because he literally just talks to hear himself talk, much like Clay does. But even worse, because you're older, grow up, you know better. Trevor just be talking, and he doesn't give his son the best advice, honestly, and his mom knows that, and I'm so sad that she has to deal with this in front of the world, on these screens. But I also am glad that she got her moment to confront his dad about the role that he played in Clay's insecurities when it comes to marriage and commitment. He passed a lot of his toxicity along to Clay, and he's not even realizing what he has done, because his mom is, Clay's mom is telling him, I don't need you to give excuses. I just need you to apologize. Not even to me, but like to Clay for what you've done to him.
It's like, is marriage for real? Or is marriage something that you get into and you lie and you deceive? He took a lot of that to the altar with his decision.
And immediately he starts giving excuses, talking about his background, how he didn't have references for good relationships. He's still stuck in that cycle of giving excuses, and he still doesn't get it, because then he tells her like, oh, all Clay has to do is find somebody like you and then he'll be fine. And she was like, well, you had somebody like me and you didn't treat me good. And that was a mic drop moment, honestly. She is the MVP of this episode. She did not come to play, and she could have easily gone into a bitter place because she did find some things out from Clay because of the show about his infidelity, but she kept it classy. She kept it neat, nice, and tidy, and she put that man in his place. And that's exactly where he belongs, in his place, and never leaving it again. Because when he does leave it, it's a mess. It's chaotic for everybody, especially Clay, who, ironically, his dad is saying he didn't get a good example of how to be a good husband and how to be in a long-term committed relationship. He's doing the same thing to Clay. He's not even giving him a good example, a chance at seeing what a healthy relationship looks like, because he's too busy yapping away and cheating on his mom. It's unfair. Clay is rattling off all the reasons why he can't marry AD, her finances, marriage is for eternity, marriage is a business decision, eternity is forever. Like, he's talking in circles at this point. And I don't know if he's drunk, but either way, get out of my face, Clay. Like, it's okay. You're evading responsibility. I'm going to get on AD as much as I can, but I also need to get on you. Like, you knew you were not ready for marriage, and as much as you tried to verbalize it, I don't know, I feel like it's just not enough. You got everybody out here dressed up, and you're just giving these random excuses for why you're not ready to get married. Do the work. Do the work. Instead of talking about the work, just go do the work. When Clay comes to talk to AD after he rejected her at the altar, that was pod Clay. When AD told Clay that she was connecting with Matthew as well, and he got super aggressive, super loud, super rude, this is the Clay that we see when he's talking to AD now. He's literally sitting over her in a position of power, and I don't want to read too much into that, but he literally goes into pod Clay. He's talking pretty aggressively for somebody who just dumped their fiance at the altar, and he's loud and over talking her, and he's kind of just like being very matter of fact, like, I don't feel good about this, I didn't want to do that, oh, no, we can work on this, stick with me. And it's like, Clay, calm down. You just hurt this girl. Give her some space, give her some time to process what's going on, and don't prescribe her what she needs to do. And of course, AD is just sitting there taking it all in and using her soft voice and saying like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm just so broken, and I really wanted this. No, I love you, Clay. Girl, speak up, okay? I hate when she does a whiny voice, and she knows she does it, because there was an episode back when they were in the pods. She was talking, I think, was it Clay? I think it was with Clay. And she said it. She was like, I could have put on my soft voice and just da 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 da. So she consciously knows that she does a soft voice. And I personally find it super annoying. She needs to get her self-esteem up, period. Like, girl, get out of this phase of woe is me and start taking some accountability. You know what your pitfalls are. You know you like to go into Captain Save-A-Ho mode. You know you like to paint your nails red to match red flags. But what are you doing to work on that? So we know what Clay's problem is, and Clay knows he needs to go to therapy. But what are you doing to fix your problems? Because if you don't address those problems at the root of what they are, you're going to get into the same cycle with the next man that you're with. Honestly, AD really disappointed me in this episode, because the things she was saying, it was just giving, I haven't learned a damn thing. On to greener pastures. We have Johnny and Amy, who are getting ready to get married. And honestly, I loved every single second of seeing these two on the screen. I know for a lot of people, they probably fast forwarded their scenes, or they skipped it maybe because there's not much going on. They're just a happy couple. But the fact that we spent an hour dealing with Clay and AD, and then we get 28 minutes left in the episode to talk about Johnny and Amy. It tells you everything you need to know. They're drama free. Everything's gonna go smoothly. There's nothing to see here except happiness and love. And I love that for them. They're perfect for one another. And I really, really hope that they work out because they're off to a good start. Their families are so sweet and they are already starting to integrate together. Like, this is just all the green flags. Like, for every red flag we had for Clay and AD and Jimmy and Chelsea and Laura and Jeremy, we have green flags to make up for it with Johnny and Amy. They, of course, both said yes, and I can see it, you can see it, everybody can see it. It just makes sense. Like, the universe is moving along as it should with these two. They're just in love, and that's that. And this is really what it looks like when you have two people with secure attachment styles, even if they have issues, right? Maybe they're not 100% secure, but two very healthy people come together who are in love and their families are supporting them. And you can tell they're both gonna say yes. Like, we have families loving on each other. We have Amy walking down the aisle with her brother. Like, oh, this was just so damn cute. I loved every single thing about their wedding day. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I did shed a tear. I am a co-crier, so when I saw all those people crying, like, they were crying in every single scene, but when I saw that, I did get teary-eyed. I got emotional because it's just so endearing. It's just so sweet. Like, they are clearly in love. Their families are supporting them. And what more could you ask for? This is what the show was made for. Like, honestly, dare I say, I like this couple better than Cameron and Lauren. And I know that is blasphemous in the Love is Blind world, but I think they are such a healthy couple, and I really hope that they can work it out. Like, even the officiant at the wedding was just spewing knowledge. Like, I was like, yes, talk your shit, okay? Hype these people up and get them married. I love this. Like, the painting at the end was perfect. The decor was amazing. Everything about their wedding was top tier, starting from them to the guests to the venue, everything. It was top tier. I loved it. Mwah. And I just loved watching everything about their wedding and their connection and their union after the heartburn that I got watching Clay and AD. So it was a nice change. The episode starts wrapping up. We see, Clay talking about he just want to get out of here. He's ready to go. I started feeling sorry for AD when they showed her on the screen again, and then she opened up her mouth and she said this.
There's nothing that he could have shown me, told me, that would have changed my answer.
Honestly, at this moment, I have no hope for this girl. Goodbye. Anyways, that's all I have for the finale of Love is Blind season 6 episode 12. Pretty uneventful, if you ask me. Not so much any shocking moments, with the exception of the first 5 minutes when Jimmy said, bitch, I'm out of here. And I loved every second of that, okay? Because Chelsea, you don't need to be getting married. Just go ahead and do some work, sis. It's okay. We love you. We support you. Yada, yada, yada. Just go ahead and get some work done. Next up is a reunion, which I'm super excited for. Hopefully we get some good questions asked and some accountability taken by these individuals. These people literally need to tell us why they came on the show. Most of these people should not have been here, so I need answers on why they signed up and what the hell we're supposed to do with what they gave us. Let me know your thoughts down below. Were you surprised by anything that happened? Let's talk about it in the comments. And with that, I will give you a rendezvous for the next episode. Thanks.